I'm not knocking you for building a business. I just want to stop you the frustration of buying into the bullshit that you need to scale. Bro, you can't scale what doesn't work. There's a ton of gurus out there that are sharing this myth that you have to scale. What they're trying to share with you that is business is easy. If you scale, your life is going to get easier. They're selling you a bullshit pipe dream. Now, with freedom, there's a price you have to pay. And that price is being uncomfortable. These are the 3 things you must nail before you consider scaling. You should focus on for the first 6 to 12 months getting to this point. Hey guys, welcome to the Painter's Circle, where we help painting business owners scale their operations, increase profitability, and gain more time freedom. I'm Taz Mullis, and in this podcast, I'll share actionable tips, expert strategies, and real-world insights that'll help you grow your painting business without burning you out. Ready to take your painting business to the next level? Let's go. Oh yeah! Hey guys, trust you're super well. Well, this is going to be an interesting topic, interesting podcast, and more than likely it's going to split the audience probably in 2. Now, the reason why I say that is it's a big one. For me, scaling is a crock of shit. Another way of saying it, scaling is bullshit. Now, I want to give you some context why I'm saying scaling is bullshit. For the most part, most painting business owners I see and talk to come to me and go, Taz, I want to scale my business. The problem with that is you don't have the fundamentals. You cannot scale what you do not already understand and do. Most painting business owners I speak to, you are nowhere near ready to scale your business. You just don't have enough reps or consistency to scale anything. So what I'm going to share with you today is why scaling is bullshit for where you are right now, when is the right time to consider scaling, and the 3 things you need to nail before you even start thinking of scaling your painting business. Now, number 1, you have to understand the fundamentals of your business. How does your business actually work? Do you understand these 3 core functions? Input, which is sales and marketing, throughput, which is your scheduling and delivery of the services, and output, which is your business administration, tracking the data, tracking the performance of your jobs. If you don't have a basic understanding of these fundamentals, what the hell are you trying to scale? And also, you don't actually know what works. More than likely, you're just doing everything in your business. You're wearing all the hats. So what are you trying to scale? I think what happens is there's a ton of coaches, there's a ton of gurus out there that are sharing this myth that you have to scale, because they're sharing what they're trying to share with you that is business is easy. If you scale, your life is going to get easier. They're selling you a bullshit pipe dream. Right now, if your painting business is under $1 million, if it's somewhere between 500K and $1 million, unfortunately, you have to do the work. Because if you don't do the work, you won't get the reps in, because you need to understand what the market wants. If you're going to spend most of your time trying to guess what the market wants, other than go out there and find out what the market wants, you are not going to be able to grow or get better at your business. The only way to do that is to get fast feedback from the marketplace. So the key fundamentals, input, throughput, and output, are critical before you even consider wanting to scale your business. Got that? Cool. So I'm definitely not saying that you can't scale your business, but what the most important thing you need to do right now is get better at your business. Because like I said, more than likely you're wearing all the hats. There's so many distractions because you feel like you need to do everything. You want to micromanage your team, you want to make every decision in your business, and that is holding you back. Until you can get to the point where you have very clear boundaries on your time, you cannot scale. Now, another way of saying that is the amount of reps you do in your business is going to directly correlate to the speed of the way you can grow your business. Now, when I say reps, that means doing the work consistently over a long period of time, like getting up and doing the work, getting up and doing it, because there's a ton of things that you don't know about your business, and you'll only learn by doing the work. And for me, the reason why I say scaling is bullshit, depending on that certain timeline, is because it takes you away from doing the reps, because you think business is easy. Business is not easy. There's a big thing in business that I've come to realize, and I'm getting a lot of conversations, I'm having a lot of conversations with painting business owners around business is overwhelming, I'm feeling overworked, I'm stressed, there's a lot of pressure. In business, you've probably decided you're going to get into building your painting business for one of three reasons or all of three reasons. One, to make some money. Two, to get your time back. And three, to get control of your business. Overall, the reason why you want those three things is probably more than likely you want some sort of freedom. Now, with freedom, there's a price you have to pay. And that price is being uncomfortable, is overwhelmed, is being a little overworked, and a lot of pressure at some stage. Now, I'm not saying you need to live in that 365 days per year, but the reality is there's seasons of business. So when there's time to be uncomfortable, you need to be able to sit in being uncomfortable. And by being uncomfortable, it will force you to either grow and get better or contract and stay where you are. Now, the reason why reps are so important is your ability to keep doing reps and grow outside your comfort zone is going to be the biggest indicator whether you'll be able to scale or not. Because if you can't handle the pressure of a business under $1 million, it gets worse over time. Every significant level of your business increases the level of uncomfortableness that comes with it, because unfortunately, you don't know what you don't know. So right now, I want you to understand that where you are right now, if it's uncomfortable, you're in the right spot, because with being uncomfortable, it's going to force you to become better. And the more reps you can do, the better you become, the faster you'll be able to get to that point, which I'll share in a moment, of what are the three things you need to do, what are the three things you need to nail before you can scale. Another thing, your ability to grow your business is dependent on three things. One, eliminate distractions. And you won't know what they are until you increase the reps and you run out of time, and you'll start eliminating because you'll have no time. Two, getting better. You need to get better at certain areas of business, starting with input, sales and marketing. You need to get better there. Two, you need to get better at scheduling and delivery, like delivering your painting services to your ideal client. And three, you need to get better at business management. They're the three areas to get better at. Last, you need to hold that standard. So whatever that standard is that you have in your business, you have to hold that standard. And then, because you've done the reps in input, throughput, output, you need to keep stacking those days, keep stacking those weeks, and keep stacking those months. I want to share with you a couple of stories right now. And these are just very fresh, just in the last 2 days, actually. One particular client, 3 months ago, was struggling in their business, as in their team wasn't performing. Their team wasn't hitting the targets and they weren't performing. So we sat down and created a plan. The problem was he had too many bright, shiny objects going on. There was too many activities and he wasn't able to eliminate all the distractions. And what was happening, everyone was just busy being busy, but they weren't being productive and doing the things that mattered. Now, we worked on a plan, and the plan was to get back to basics, do the reps, win profitable jobs, schedule them to the capacity of the team, get the jobs done, and track the data. May, big win. June, big win. He banked 2 super profitable months back to back after having 3 tanking months. And we sat down and I said, mate, what I need you to do is keep business boring. I want you to replicate this 6 months in a row. You've got to keep it simple. Do not complicate what you're doing right now and think, let's scale, because you scaling right now is going to break the repetition, the consistency, the discipline of the team, and you're going to tank again. Business, when done well, should be boring. We as people overcomplicate shit because we go, hey, that dude told me I should scale. I should put in a system. I should put some processes. I should get this new piece of tech. Now, I'm not saying tech won't help your business, but if you can't do the fundamentals of your business, if your team don't understand that doing the reps at the simple shit and holding the standard is going to get you the result, and you start looking for all these bright, shiny objects, these cool things. What's this new tic-tac tool? Tic-tac tool? Tic-tac? No. TikTok, this cool TikTok tool that I can bring into the business that's going to improve our exposure and leads instead of just doing the basic shit properly. So being able to stack days, weeks, and months consistently And being comfortable with it being boring because the objective of business is to win is important. Then you start considering when and how to scale, which I'll be sharing in a minute. And I don't want to let you off on you need to get used to being uncomfortable, because if you don't like being uncomfortable, anywhere between $500K and $1 million is where you start doing the reps, where you start becoming uncomfortable and stretching yourself and going outside your normal comfort zone and getting used to that pressure. It is going to get significantly worse once you punch past $1 million. You're going to have to get used to getting outside your comfort zone. Another big mistake I see business owners doing, and it's not their fault because there's so much information, there's so much activity, there's so much things coming at us as business owners telling us what we should do and how we should do it, is they spin their wheels trying to build a process and a system. Now, I want to be careful here because I'm definitely not saying processes and a system don't benefit your business. They do. The problem is, as a painting business owner, when you're starting out and you're sub $1 million, you're wearing so many hats, you do not have the time in your week to sit down and document the workflow. You do not have time to systemate and build the process. And you sure as shit don't have time to go and investigate what is the system that I need in my business so I can scale. That is like one of the biggest distractions I see with business owners, because they're being inundated that you need a process, you need a system. Now, I'm not saying you don't need it, but at the beginning, I want you to focus on what is the outcome of this activity, because this is the two schools of thought. We have process-based thinking, where we sit down and we try and document all the steps that we need to do to get the outcome that we want. Lack of a better description, it's like we need to get our ducks in a row. I don't know what the hell we'll get ducks in a row. So we're going to get our ducks in a row and then we execute. This is on top of running the business. The other school of thought is outcome-based thinking. So we've got process-based thinking and outcome-based thinking. For me, when you're starting out, focusing on the outcome-based thinking means if you have a goal that you want to achieve and you're over here, what are the least amount of steps for you to get this goal? Don't worry about creating the process. Your focus is on the result. We bank results. We don't bank effort. Losers focus on effort. You got to do the effort, you got to do the reps, but we only care about the results. So what I want you to focus on is get the thing that you want. Once you have proven that in your business, you can go from here to here, then you go, holy shit, I actually have a process of how to do that. Now you put the process in place. But if you spend 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, 12 months trying to build this quote system, this quote process, this follow-up process, this conversion process, you don't know what's working until you do it. Go out there, do the reps, get the feedback correct. Do it again, do it again. The feedback from the market will tell you what works and what doesn't work. The feedback from the market will dictate what the process should be, not the other way around. I can tell you now, I never know what's going to work until I do it. I'd be remiss of me not to tell you, just have a crack, do it. The feedback will tell you, is it working? If it's working, then that becomes a process. Not, I will build the process, then I'll do it, then I'll come back and correct it. I'll build another process, I'll do it, then I'll correct it. It takes too long. You don't have that much time. So if you're definitely sub 500K, but sub $1 million, I want you to think we have process-based thinking, which is the ducks in a row. That is another way of saying, I want more distractions. I want to procrastinate. I want to go into scale my business bro bullshit because I want to avoid doing the work. Or I get into the outcome-based thinking and go, I'm just going to get the outcome that I want. What is the shortest way to this outcome? Gets back to the 80-20 rule. We did a podcast on that way back. Go watch that podcast. That 20% of your activities are going to give you 80% of the results. So what is the 20% that's going to get the result? Do that first, then come back and build your process. And I'll share when and where you do that in a minute. I thought I'd only be sharing one thing that would sort of split the audience into, but I've got another one right now. Now I'm going to tell you something that you're probably in business right now and you're probably not going to want to hear. But when you're under $1 million, you've got to hustle, because with hustle creates reps and repetition. Working hard because you don't know what to do anything. You don't know what you're doing anyway. So the working hard bit is for you to keep learning. Now, the purpose of working hard is not the hard work. The purpose of hard work is so that you can get the feedback faster. The only downside of working hard, there's only one downside of working hard, is that you forget to get the feedback and you just work hard for the sake of working hard. That is the only downside. The upside of working hard is you become better at that thing. Now, there's only two outcomes right here with working hard. This is where most people fall off the bandwagon. They work hard and then they don't see a result and then they go, oh shit, that didn't work. Or they're working hard and they want instant gratification. They want the win now. They want the sale now. They want the outcome of activity now. That's one side of the coin. But the flip side is probably the most important part that I want you to take away from this short video. And that is the purpose of working hard is for you to get better. So working hard, although you might get the outcome, that's great, but working hard on getting better makes you better because your business will not improve unless you get better. And you can't get better unless you work hard on the thing about getting better on. So if you're frustrated and you're not seeing results, trust me, the work is working on you. It's not working for you, and that's a frustrating thing. And people go, Taz, I'm overwhelmed, I'm overworked, I feel stressed, I'm going to stop doing this thing. It's actually working, but it's not working for you yet. It's working on you. And that's the purpose of working hard, for you to get better. Cool? Cool. I'll give you permission to work hard. Just don't burn out. Just quickly, guys, if you're a painting business owner and you're overworked, overwhelmed, and underpaid, we can help. Hit the link below in the show notes to learn more. Now back to the episode. Now, I spent the first part of this podcast sharing with you why I think scaling is bullshit on a timeline and what are the areas that you need to understand before you even consider scaling. But you're probably thinking, Taz, well, that's great. You've told me why and you told me what, how, and when is the right time to consider scaling my business. Well, if you are running a painting business, there are three things you need to nail before you even consider scaling your business. There's three parts and there's three things that you need to nail. I'm going to draw it right now, okay? So, I always like to draw people with hats. You're the little blue guy, okay? And over here is the gift of the business that you're wanting to achieve, like more money, your time back, and control in your business. So we've got it. This is the timeline. Cool. Now, in this timeline, I'm going to make it 2 years. So it's year one, and this is today. Cool. So you're here, and you want to be here. You want this outcome. And this outcome over here is you want to make some money, you want your time back, and you want some control of your business. Cool little drawings. Whatever that number happens to be. You want to make X amount of net profit, X amount of revenue, although revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. You want X amount of time off in your business. You want to be so many times on the business versus in the business, and control. You want, I don't know, 4, 6, 10, 12 weeks off a year, whatever it happens to be in 2 years' time. You're on the left, you're moving towards the right over a 2-year period. Now, for you, it might be 12 months, it might be 3 years. Wherever you want to be, you determine that own timeline, okay? Now, typically when I'm talking to painting business owners, there's three things that hit me up with. So, Taz, I'm overworked. Have you ever felt like that? You've got so much going on, you're burning the candle at both ends, you're on the tools 40 hours, you're doing back of house for 20 hours, and you're running doing quotes. They're overwhelmed. There's got so much going on, so many decisions. That usually comes from making too many decisions, or being the bottleneck, or being the chief decision maker. They're overwhelmed and they're over it. They're really over it. That's where they're coming to me at, right? And if you stay in that zone, if you stay overworked, overwhelmed, and you get over it, it's unlikely you're going to get your goal, correct? Let's just make that assumption. So over this 2-year time frame, you might be traveling right, but then you might end up being down here, which is not where you want to be, okay? On the flip side, you're probably thinking, no, I'm a bit more optimistic than that, Taz. Although I'm overworked, overwhelmed, I'm getting over it, What is the plan? What are the things that I need to do to be able to get better and grow my business before I scale? And we're going to make the assumption that you're going to hit those goals over the next 2 years. Cool? Cool. All right. Step one, your very first step is to, if you're here, we need to jump lines. We need to get off that orange line. We need to completely make that decision and go, I want to be better. So that's step one. Step two is we need to understand and improve our pricing. 90% of painting business I speak to have a pricing problem. I'm not saying that's you, just the overwhelming majority. So step one is you need to nail your pricing. Step two, you need to nail the performance of your business, pricing and then performance. Step three, you want to fill in your pipeline. So the amount of work you've got booked into your schedule. So you want to do 1, 2, 3. They're the three things you need to nail before you even consider scaling. Because if your pricing's out, if you're underpricing 5% and you scale your business and you double it, you just go backwards faster. If your pricing's fine, but your performance of your team is out and your team is underperforming 5 or 10% and you're winning more work and you're still going backwards because your team can't hit target, what's the point? You just have more levels of stress. Or you have your pricing and your performance is going really good, but you don't have a full pipeline. So you must understand before you even think about scaling, is your pricing on point? Is your performance on point? Is my pipeline where I want it to be? Now, your pipeline could be 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 2 years, whatever that number is, it is what is right for you. These are the three things you must nail before you consider scaling. Now, if you're at point A over here, where we said, you should focus on for the first 6 to 12 months, getting to this point. Nail your pricing, nail your performance. So understand your production rates, understand your targets, get your team on board, and get your pipeline. So your pipeline is around sales, filling it up. Your performance is your delivery, and your pricing is your profitability. So those are the three things you must nail before you're considering scaling. Then, and only then, do you start looking at the next step. And the next step is processes. Because now you know you win profitable work, your team's on board, and your pipeline's healthy. Now you can build some processes, because what happens is when your business is making money, guess what happens? You buy your time back. Guess what happens when you buy your time back? You have the time now to build out those workflows, to build out those processes. Remember I was saying at the beginning of the video, you have no time right now. Where are you going to find an extra 10, 20 hours to build the workflows, to build the processes? You don't. You need to buy back your time. The only way you're going to buy back your time is get your pricing nailed, get your performance nailed, and get your pipeline full. Get to that stage. That is the best time to consider, now I have the time, space, and resources to develop processes. Once you develop processes, there's three things to consider. People, process, technology. What, all three of these things, am I going to need to take me to the next level? Then, and only then, would I consider scaling. You can't jump. You can't jump to scale if you don't understand your pricing or if your pricing's out. You can't jump to scale if your performance is shit. And you definitely can't scale if you don't have a healthy pipeline, which means your sales is crap. Understanding this, I'm not saying you can't scale your business. I would just focus on building a better business first. Build something that is profitable, that you can perform and get the job done on time with a happy client that has a healthy pipeline. Then and only then should you consider scaling. So I'm not knocking you for building a business. I just want to stop you the frustration of buying into the bullshit that you need to scale, bro. You can't scale what doesn't work. So to wrap that all up, I'm going to wrap it up for you. 1, remove distractions. 2, get better. How do you get better? Just keep doing reps. Keep doing the reps. Keep doing the reps. 3, have a standard. 4, nail the 3 Ps, pricing, performance, and pipeline. Once you've done these, now you can document the workflow. Now you can build a process or get someone to help you build a process. Because until then, you're just too busy to do anything. You don't have the resources, you don't have the time, and you definitely don't have the capacity to move to any form of growth and or scaling. I hope you got a ton of value out of that session. Like I said, my goal is not to squash your hopes of scaling your business. My goal is to help you do it in a way that gives you the best chance of doing it. If you focus on pricing, if you focus on performance, and if you focus on that pipeline, you have the best chance of not only growing your business, but scaling your business. Wishing you all the best. Hey guys, if you got value from today's episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss expert tips. If you want some support, check out the link in the show notes and see how we can help you. Don't forget to follow us on socials @PainterCoach. Stay cool, be well, and as usual, see you in the interwebs. Bye.